Hi, I'm Steve from LZ23 Strength, where we exert ourselves, we evolve in mind and body, and we strive to elevate our health. Today, our topic's going to be Japanese walking. And another way to refer to it could be IWT, interval walking training. It's become popular in the past few years, and it's not that Japanese folks really do this type of training, but it was originated in university in Japan, the Shinshu University, by physiologist Hiroshi Nose. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but a lot of studies came out of that university and the benefits of Japanese walking, which basically, in a nutshell, before we get too deep into it, is 3 minutes of normal walking, slow walking, your normal pace, calm, and then 3 minutes at a pretty high pace, which it's been compared to pretend you're late for an appointment and you're late for your bus or late for work, and you're walking at a pretty quick clip where you can feel it, your heart rate and your breathing. So doing that 3 minutes slow, 3 minutes high, and doing 5 rounds of that for 30 minutes. And we'll get into some of the nuances of that, but there's so many health benefits that have been studied that come out of this style of walking. And when you put Japanese in front of any kind of health protocol, it usually gets people's attention because they are one of the longer lived countries in the world. Actually, I looked it up. They were number two. They were second on the United Nations list as far as longevity. It was back in 2023 or 2024. Now there's two countries at the top that have surpassed, but they're very small. Monaco and San Marino combined, their population doesn't even reach 80,000. So not that I dismiss them, but it's not quite the same. So if you look at the rankings, Hong Kong is one, and Japan is number two. So people think of Japan and Japanese individuals as long lived for a very good reason, and they do walk a lot, they do move a lot. So putting that title here, it's still worthy. And we think of the blue zones. Okinawa, Japan, is one of the blue zones where they allegedly and regularly live to 100 centenarians. So that's why we got the Japanese walking, and it's gaining in popularity because before this, people kind of adhered to the 10,000 step rule. I've talked about it before on my channel as well, and I didn't realize until recently that it basically came out in 1964. There was a Japanese company that was making pedometers, and the Japanese character for 10,000 looks like an individual walking, and that's how they kind of put it together. So basically, it's a marketing myth, so to speak, for 10,000 steps being the standard. True scientific research shows that benefits begin at about 4,500 steps to 5,000. You start to see health benefits. And many people will agree in science that under those numbers, people are considered sedentary if we don't reach the 4 to 5,000 step mark. So 10,000 steps, the benefit of Japanese walking, just to start us off over 10,000 steps, is the efficiency. If you do it the way the protocol is for 5 rounds of 3 minutes each of slow and fast walking, that's a half an hour. Generally, for people to do 10,000 steps would require minimum probably hour and a half almost if you're doing it at a high pace, but normal paces could take many people up to 2 hours to get 10,000 steps. So many people don't have that in a day. Even if they stretch it out in a variety of lengths, they don't have that much time. So a half an hour compared to 2 hours, you're saving a lot of time and actually getting more value, as we'll discuss in a little bit. So as I mentioned, Japanese folks, they don't might not adhere to it. Probably many do now that they know these studies, but the idea of movement. So I'm not totally wiping out the 10,000 steps, just saying it's not as necessary. Actually, when I talk about step count at about 7,500, science says that it begin to plateau from the benefits. So somewhere between 5,000 and 7,500 steps is kind of the sweet spot, I guess, when it comes to research that's been done there. But, here on our channel, we believe movement is life. So whatever you do to get the steps is important, but I think the health benefits that come from, we're going to discuss five areas. It's worth considering for sure for Japanese walking or IWT, interval walking training. So the first one is superior cardiovascular health. So cycling between high intensity and low intensity periods improves aerobic capacity and can raise VO2 max by up to 16 to 20%. And VO2 max is connected with longevity as far as where your VO2 max is in your age group. The higher you are in that age group with your VO2 max, the more the longevity. So, and especially when it comes to cardiovascular, it's a good gauge in doing that. Getting back to the 3 minutes each, the recommendation, which I don't know if I'm good at this, but maybe you'd be better at this, that the slow walking is about 40% of your capacity. And when you're doing your fast pace or high pace, you're above 70%. But the big difference is, your normal pace. That's easy to do. But when you're doing the high pace, you want to be winded, out of breath a little bit, and you'll feel your heart's beating a little faster for that 3 minutes. So that's how you know that you're getting the cardiovascular benefits for sure. Now, the second benefit for IWT is that it's highly effective for glycemic control, helping to lower blood glucose and manage diabetes and even boost metabolism. And that's another issue that many individuals are struggling with. So to help regulate that and promote better health in that area is definitely a positive. The third area is the alternating speeds builds lower body strength. And as we age, we need that. We need lower body strength. And it's shown significantly to improve knee extension and flexion and balance, as well as bone density without putting excessive strain on the joints. So it's a win-win-win all the way around when it comes to that. The fourth benefit is that it helps create an afterburn effect. And what that is, and there's other forms of training that bring this in as well, but in this particularly, it's an afterburn effect in that many people think they're burning calories as they're doing a certain exercise, or in this case, the intense walking. But the afterburn effect is that even 20 minutes later, even sometimes a couple hours later, depending on what you're doing, you're still burning calories because of that activity or that exercise that you did. So it's exceptionally good too in this regard that it helps with visceral fat and targeting it. And visceral fat's not always seen. It's the fat inside by our organs that push on our organs. So it's hard to, obviously, if you have a bigger belly, we know something's going on, but it's more insidious than that, the visceral fat. So this targets the visceral fat that we don't want to have much of that. And the fifth benefit is that it increases endorphins, which are neurotransmitters, also called feel-good chemicals. So it helps reduce stress and boost blood flow to the brain. So it helps combat cognitive decline. It helps to boost our moods. And there's a 12% boost in sleep quality that research has found. So those are just 5 basic things that incorporating this. And what's, again, great about Japanese walking, that it doesn't take a lot of time. It's easy on the body as far as our joints, and it's not going to cause hardship or pain to folks. It's free. So it's definitely worth bringing into the conversation in our routine. It's encouraged. A lot of the recommendations are 4 times a week. Some say 3 to 4 times. I'd say 4 to 5 times, depending on your health goals and what your schedule is. Also, it's been talked about that you can break it up. You could do 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes later. We've talked about on this channel, and there's a lot of scientific research about having 10-minute movements as well as walking, moving 10 minutes right after you eat. And that's primarily for glucose control and metabolism. So could incorporate this during those 10-minute programs for after eating. So there's a variety of ways that you can bring it into your life and take advantage of it. And we're all different. So out of these 5 benefits, maybe one of them is going to stand out for us. Maybe a couple of them, maybe they're going to be different than our mate or your neighbor or friend. So it's good experiment to do a variety of things, see how you feel. There's other ways to increase the intensity, and maybe you do 6 rounds or 7 rounds, or you try to do it where there's hills or stairs that you incorporate. I know I talk on my channel a lot about weighted vests, but again, it's all where our fitness level it is and what our particular goals are. But there's ways that we can intensify it, and depending on what our other activities are, maybe 3 to 4 times is good if we're doing the proper resistance training. Maybe getting in one high intensity workout a week, maybe whether it's sprinting, rowing, on a bicycle. There's all sorts of things that you can incorporate. So experiment with it, have fun with it. The whole idea with all that we talk about here is that this is what we want to do for life. It's not just a short activity that we're going to be done with and move on, but it's something that we want to have part of our routine weekly and monthly and yearly so that we can benefit from it. So hopefully this gave you some food for thought. And I think it's a relief that we don't have to get 10,000 steps, but by all means, on a nice day, get outside and do some walking with a friend, your mate, your kids, whoever it is. Take advantage of it. It's not necessarily always more is better, but it's good to constantly be moving and incorporate a bunch of these things into our activities and into our routines. So remember to exert yourself, elevate your health, evolve in mind and body. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.